And what?
Hey everybody, welcome back to Exits for Show, your premier media response show. I'm Nico, and you guys can check me out at Nico Action, Nicoation. Oh, try again for me, TK.
No.
I'm TK. You can find me at TK Accidental.
That makes me Tori. You can find me at SM Tori. That's Tori with an I.
Hey everyone, it's Jonah. You can follow me places at Peak Jonah.
And that makes me your producer, Kevo. You can find me at Kevo Really. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment so we know what you want us to cover in the future. But we are here for our weekly analysis of All Stars with an all-new team of girls. How exciting.
Woo!
I'm like secretly coughing on mute for a minute. This is great. So I want to start with not all new girls, all old girls. Old girls. I want to start with old girls. But beyond, I want to start with old girls and point aggressively. I want to say that I already missed the last batch of girls. I feel like I can already see like the girls I wish I could pull through, like old school Big Brother house rules style, bring some people into the new batch. I agree, Andrew. Tori is slaying tonight. But I just want to say, to start really quick, who do you miss already? I'm just going to put it out there. I miss Irene. I miss her can-do-it attitude. I miss her BFA that came up a couple times.
I'm not going to say I miss a person. I miss the previous slate's emotional stability.
Yes.
And let's be forgiving and say everybody's emotionally unstable, but where these girls were, including like, you know, people who we now know were having a rough time of it, like Miss Olivia Lux, versus what I'm seeing from Pink, and in a fascinating way, but maybe just a little exhausting to go from one to the other. Just a whole other slew of emotional issues that came in hard and went unacknowledged, so they felt like they were even harder.
I really love that. And also, TK, I'm glad you and I are right here, because I just need to say that Irene coming for Deathbird of the Shi'ar in this moment is just absolutely egregious.
Oh, God.
Jonah, can I get an amen?
A Shi'ar.
She sure are.
I miss Bosco. I'm gonna have to wait 6 weeks to have Bosco on my screen again. I am devastated. I mean, I get to have other people that I very much enjoy in the meantime, but it's rough out here.
Yeah, this is the shift is, it goes from the kind of show that I like to watch, which is not really reality competition. It's where we all get under a tent and are very happy with each other. And we're going into Pink, where it's very much not that, period. And I actually sat back at the end of the episode and I went, I'm so glad that other people are getting what they want, because at work, I have several gays where we talk about this, and they have been bored out of their minds for 3 weeks or 2 weeks. And I have been like, no, it's been really great. And then they're like, I can't wait for the next one. At least it'll be interesting. And I'm just like, it's interesting no matter what.
The bitch doesn't know buttons, and it's like, I guess you don't know number ones. So like, people not recognizing how good these first 2 weeks are. I mean, well, I'm such a Nicole boy. It's never gonna stop. I'm such a Nicole.
Yes, but when it comes to buttons, the best performance will always be when Melody kicks her out and goes to the front of the stage and just ruins Nicole's night. Even though
we are not talking about Nicole Page Brooks. Okay.
No, Nicole Pussycat Dolls.
Nicole Scherzinger from Pussycat Dolls Atlanta.
Yes. Yes.
Gabo, tell me, who do you miss to the face?
Who do I already miss? Olivia, maybe, because we have that special relationship with her now because of Glam Slam. Check out our coverage of Glam Slam, the Amazing Drag Race spinoff, where they design garments in a recreation center gymnasium. But, you know, I like the team that shaped out. I'm excited to see them play out. I think it's mostly just how weird this system is, that now we got used to these girls for what should have been 3, but what was 2 weeks. Now we're having 3 weeks with these new queens. We still have yet to get to Team Purple. But yeah, it's weird. It's interesting. But if I had to pick one girl from Orange that I probably miss the most right now, that I know I'm not going to see more of, Olivia.
Can you go forward an image real quick? Did you
The
come up
pink,
with the
yeah.
Nicole? Did you come up with the Nicole Preach Brooks logo, or does she?
No,
just
that's
have a
hers.
logo? Oh, so her logo just looks like the Super Mario Nintendo logo. Got it.
Yeah.
So,
No, that one is from the Drag Race
Love it.
Wikia that I sourced
Fucking love
from her. It's not one of the ones I made.
So then let's kick it off. Who are you most excited about in this new bracket? Let me tell you, Tina Burner she's serving
Yeah.
two things I
Yes.
love. Number one, she looks so fucking good. God, the daddy is so hot. She looks out of control hot. So happy for her. But then also, let's go with bloodthirsty, savage aggressivery of I was underestimated. I thought I was going to do a lot better in my season and didn't. But like this, I'm going to fucking eat you. That she has got going for her is delectable. I mean, she is Sweeney and Mrs. Lovett in this moment. And she was desperate for Lydia to say no one is going to harm you, not while I'm around. And she did not get the numbers she wanted. Women and their sensibilities, my God. So I lost my dang shit because Tina Burner literally came onto the screen and said, I'm the big bad wolf, and I'm gonna blow your house down. And yeah, and she was so unconfident. God, she was hot.
I mean, so you started talking about Tina in a very different way than you ended, and where you
Same way.
where you ended is how I felt. Like I mean, Tina. This is who I see. I'm very excited about Tina. But what was exciting about Tina was she did not come in super confident. She didn't come in unconfident, but she came in aware that she didn't do as well as she had wanted to do on her season. She came in, I think, knowing that she had leveled up, but not actually having proven it on the Drag Race stage, and not being one of those queens who has that kind of confidence to talk all the shit. Although weirdly, it seemed like she had that more during her original season. So just her personality was really, really different. And it was very cool to watch her have this incredibly successful moment. And Kevo, I can't believe you just have all of these like pratfall pictures of her.
They're not pratfall. They're the shots they chose for her from the original preview of the opening. I don't remember her from this episode.
Just so goofy.
Yeah.
But
I'm not her producer. I can't help it.
You sure are not. And but this was kind of my experience, and these aren't all bad. Like, I thought she was funny and energetic and active. I was really surprised to remember that she didn't win challenges, but it was exciting to see somebody come in hard when the time came. I think sometimes the narrative of like, I am Sasha Colby, like I came in amazing and then of course I did amazing on the challenge, that can be fun, and it's one that I really like. Sasha's is a great example, but there's multiple narratives on Drag Race, and we've had a couple really successful like I came in to be amazing narratives. And so having a narrative of anything else, like any sort of doubt, maybe I'm not going to, like, Tina could have been the best of the bottom 3 this week, and that wouldn't have been bad. There's only 6 of them, so that's still not a bad place to be. But instead, that outfit was amazing. She was amazing. It was really exciting to see. And then the quiet war of mothering Lydia that is going on between Mistress and Tina is one of the more fascinating, again, exhausting psychologically, and part of what made me miss the other crowd. But the war to mother Lydia Butthole Collins was a crazy storyline to carry through this and Untucked for the first episode of the show.
Yeah, I definitely, it's that moment where I'm like, oh right, because no one was actually like drag mother age or sensibility in season 17, those girls just sort of drifted in their world. And I'm very fascinated by Tina wanting to cozy up to Lydia, and Lydia being like, sure, but what about you? and Mistress being like, "That's nice, dear. I'll see you on the other side." And it's just a round robin of trying to figure that out. I am just so glad that either last time or the time before that, when you guys were like, "What are you looking forward to?" and I blanked that Denali was on Team Purple and just said Team Pink because I'm a Tina Burner apologist. I've been vindicated in that apology for her outfit and most of this lip sync, and I'm just so happy. I love New York girls. I love older New York girls. I'm recognizing the New York scene is not the same as it used to be anymore. It's not funny gals on the mic. The stunts and the dancers have joined the New York crew, but I'm just so happy. I think Tina, I was sort of talking about this with Kevo a little bit, but the idea that Tina doesn't have to, after the runway, come and stomp on Mistress anymore. This was all that it took to prove that she is worth that. She doesn't need to defend her skill set. She needs to defend her character, but she doesn't need to defend her skill set. And I think it's very telling that Mistress looked around, looked at what Tina had, and was like, well, I can't make fun of that because it is actually quite good, and had to go for a character attack instead. I'm so happy about that. I'm interested to see what Lydia does. I'm interested to see how people interact with her, and I'm interested to see if Nicole Page Brooks joins new modern drag, the drag that has come out of Drag Race, the drag that has come out of everything, because she still feels very early Drag Race in that it's about kind of elevated mall glamour, real female illusionment kind of stuff. And it's very, very different standing next to 5 gals who are coming from the newer school on stage with you.
And your drag is your drag, but this competition.
One another.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
This looks like the substance to me.
Oh my God.
That's number 1. Number 2. Speaking mostly about Tina, I'm so happy that she's here. I'm happy that she's kind of just getting another shot. You know, people have known about her for a long time in the New York scene, and I think a lot of what makes Tina a phenomenal performer and drag queen maybe didn't translate around the first time around in season 13. My friend Zach, who went to P-Town and Tina Burner has her residency there, did go to see her show, and he said it was fine. So take that with what you will. But I really appreciate, and I also want to make a note of something. On the season 13 design challenge, what she made was actually pretty well made. It just happened to be styled in a way that I did not appreciate, and that wig was not her friend. But they think, in a fun way, Tina Burner is a great candidate for All-Stars because she had so much to prove. Not that she even did bad on her season, but there was such a level to show this immense level of growth because she did kind of mid, that seeing her do so well and actually be able to flourish and showcase her skills was just very rewarding, seeing someone do so well. And I just made me happy. It made me happy to see someone from New York who represents that idea of glamour. Like from what I know, from what the girls talk about, a lot of the New York scene is you're given a mic and you need to host an hour and a half. You need to be entertaining for an hour and a half. You're just given a mic and you're told to go. And Tina represents that a lot, and I'm really happy to see that representation on Drag Race.
Kevo, who has your heart here? What are you vibing?
Let me bring up the cast image. This is the one that I made. From Team Pink, who am I vibing so far? I think I am most surprised by my reaction to Lydia and her inclusion of this season. I think it was a huge surprise and gamble to include a girl from the most recent season. I love that they're not shying away from it and that they keep having her point to, this is kind of season 17 part B for me. I just kind of kept rolling. And I think the thing I love the most about it is what it highlights about the nature of this program being a sorority and being a team that you join. And I love them highlighting that she was nervous to come join and nervous about starting and how she would fit in, but that everyone really is embracing her right away. She is someone who is sometimes shy, but usually very gregarious. So she is a good example of someone who is a good fit for this type of coming right on from her freshman year and taking a stab at this. And I've really loved that. I've really loved seeing all of the girls embrace her, and I am excited to see how that might continue in this season. And, you know, with the rest of the season being a wild card, whether she ends up going forward, if there's a lip sync Lollapalooza where she gets to play with everyone, who knows? But I'm really liking seeing her interact with everyone.
And it's so exciting to get to see these girls come back and do this ball. Now, we had all been very nervous that this was going to be like, you know, make 18 looks go. And not because we don't love these girls making 18 looks, but like, you know, point of diminishing returns, too many looks, too short a time. You can only make it so good. But more than anything, this 8-ball situation. I love the number of cocaine jokes we got away with here.
Oh.
Yeah, no, I also don't love Carrie's high school production of Once on This Island. But I do think that this challenge had something going for it that not enough challenges do, which is motherfucking brevity. Let's talk about the beauty of brevity.
Yes.
Okay? I'm not here to say anybody has a bad anything in their heart, right? But like, you remember the really good stuff because it's Baby One More Time. You remember the really bad stuff because it's that cover of And the Beat Goes On or Email My Heart. You don't remember the first song Britney ever co-wrote from the Sometimes single, the B-side, I'm So Curious. Like, because it's not so terrible and it's not so good. So who the fuck cares, right? It's just Britney Spears had some feelings on a single. Part of what winds up happening is when you've got to do 3 to 4 looks for 11 girls, a lot of them just come out looking so milled. And by focusing on one look that was really hard to focus on, they did something really cool here. And they gave us 6 looks that were transformative, that were complicated. Some of them were pretty stupid, but some of them were like, you're stupid! And that's really fun. I loved the top 3. Actually, I didn't love Mistresses, but I loved Mistress's Moxie. And I also loved it in that moment right there in that picture. Mistress looks like she is a member of Mr. Big, and she can't wait to sing To Be With You. I also think that if she cut the hair a little shorter, she could have been Gary Sharon, and she would have been ready to sing More Than Words. So,
I think she looks like Amy Lee's Frankie Grande. She's Frankie
first
Lee.
of all, fuck you.
You're Amy Grande.
That is absolutely, this is the worst cook in America. And so, I
entirely forgot what I was going to say because of all that.
I really think that by making this brief, you made it better.
I remember now, though. Go ahead.
Go
you can go first.
No, go.
Well, but I have a question, though. Did this then ultimately feel kind of light? A, because I was expecting 18 looks and didn't get it, so it was a shock. But after what we got for the first 3 episodes, where everything was these portmanteau challenges and everything was more than one thing, this maybe felt a little light or felt like it should have felt light. I don't know. It was weird.
The only reason I totally get where you're coming from. I think between you guys have put up the spectrum. This was like a ball, but we only did one thing, so that gave us a lot of focus. This was like a ball, but we only did one thing, so it was only one thing. Somewhere in, we've all got to fall kind of somewhere in there in terms of how we felt about it. I only agree because we have done so many 3-look balls where, as Nico pointed out, they're just like most of the looks are forgettable, and also most of them are brought from home, so it's just 2 extra runways for the night. And then the thing that they actually had to work on that is really the only, and you know, they can talk about the other 2 looks and how they were good or bad, but it's just kind of more stuff. And it's not even a bad thing. Sometimes I do love a feature. Sometimes I do love for everybody to get a lot of time to walk. But when it's done in a way where they're specifically one of the looks is constructed, it starts to get very noisy in terms of like, for competition's sake, the constructed look has to matter a certain amount more than the 2 that you brought from home. That should be the best you can possibly get. But then some girls have no money and no skills. And some girls have no skills, but a lot of money. Some girls have both. So then we get into handicapping who deserves to bring what and why. And ultimately,
who's going to get Galooly?
Blammo. And this cut through all the noise. They all got the stuff there. Right. They all had the chance to construct, and that was the only thing to feature that night. And then I go back to it would have been so easy to do 3 looks for everybody with 6 people as compared to doing it when it's a 12-person or more season. So this might have been a nice time to do it. I'm all over the place with it, but I really do. At the end of the day, I fell into the camp of I got to focus on what everybody was doing, and then that was the only thing to focus on, what they produced at the end of the night. I didn't have to think to myself like, well, you know, the look that they made was terrible, but the other 2 were phenomenal and they told a story, so maybe the terrible one was great because it was part of the story. No, they were all they were all what they were. There was plenty to evaluate, and then there was really plenty to go on, like for show drama too. One of the big moments from Untucked that I really kind of enjoyed piecing out was Mistress's confidence saying like, you know, I felt like I checked all my boxes, so I'm not really worried, and I think I will be in the top, which she then of course was not, which sort of gagged her a little bit. She didn't really quite have a frame of mind for where one would be. And, you know, she was ready to critique Lydia, but you know, about hems or whatever, but obviously the judges really liked Lydia, so it just became part of the interesting conflict of the episode. And again, I think if there had been 18 looks to discuss, even if they'd been having the fight about whatever the constructed look was and who did well and who didn't, we might be saying to ourselves like, well, yeah, her constructed look was bad, but the other 2 were so good. What does it matter? I kind of forgot about the one constructed one because the other 2 were so good. Or so bad, who knows? But we got right to the point. And I think for where we are now in this incredibly chaotic, noisy show that does so much, it was exactly the time to do a little less and just get to it.
Which is why Nicole Page Brooks is dressed like she's about to sing Dugadoo.
Oh, she took the assignment to heart and did as little as possible.
This is beautiful. This is perfect. That's a model. Like, that's a milk.
Did no one else clock that she is referencing the judge's dress, which is the dress that Deja wore for her entrance look?
I didn't like it too much on Deja's entrance looks, and I was like, oh, okay, maybe it's something just not for me. To find out that she was referencing Suzanne Barsh, but like, it was something. Other little bit of tea. This lip sync song that they chose is one that Mistress always performs and loves. So when you're like, oh, this is the lip sync song for the night, usually sometimes you'd be like, oh, I'll be there lip syncing because they put this in there for me. They often ask the girls, what do you lip sync to? Like, what are your typical lip sync songs? And sometimes they'll include some of those numbers or some similar genre. But I think there is an extra level of pluckness about it. I hear what you guys are saying about this being a ball and there only being 1 look per person. I think they were trying to make it fair in terms of budget, so this way these girls don't have to pay for an extra 2 looks that other people in other brackets are going to do, unless everybody gets a ball, but then they don't want to do that many design challenges, I don't think.
And we may be looking at a ball later on in the season.
I'm sure we're going to get a real ball at some point.
Yeah, and that to me is probably the more like everybody probably already had to bring looks for a ball that would come later that a bunch of them weren't going to get to be in. So
yeah, I think it was their way of trying to make sure nobody had to get extra outfits, waste money that they're not going to be able to showcase on the show because they're not doing the Rue game, whatever they did on All Stars 8. What I what I specifically loved about this ball is that this was very equal footing. This is all about your ability to be a seamstress and a designer, because everybody got fabric, everybody got trim. They maybe got one or maybe two slightly weird items that were still material fabric adjacent enough that nobody was given anything out of left field that they could have said, well, my box was terrible. I didn't get anything I like. This is bad. I can't work with this. No, everybody got four-way stretch fabric, trims. They got things to work with, so it was all up to them. And I really appreciated about that from a skill perspective of saying, we're asking you to do this. This is the challenge. Rise to the occasion. Challenge yourself. And I like that this was, in a way, no nonsense, because the balls were all randomized. There was nothing, you couldn't peek. There's no trading. It's all just whatever you got is what you got. And there's no much way to complain about the material or anything else of like production interference because everybody was given the equal amount of stuff. Now you could say some people got better combinations of things, which sure, but I think, Tina Burner got her old color scheme and she looked gorgeous, so.
Things I was going to say.
Tori, sing it out, Tori. Tell us.
No, it's true. She got stuff that if she hadn't put together well, they would have been like, you got stuck with your colors when you were so blah 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 kind of thing. I even think I think Mistress could have probably done a better job integrating her blues, but she did what she had to have a cohesive whole. I think everyone was basically set up for success, and then it came down to taste and skill set.
Can I push on that a little bit? I that was a place where I was actually really surprised. Like it was just her bag. Like using the tool to pack the bag to me was where I was like, are we not gonna say anything? Like
on Project Runway, that would have gotten you spat out.
Yeah, like I just and this did feel a little bit like the closest they were going to get maybe this for this group of girls to not really giving anybody critique so that it could just be a pleasant start to the season. But this was another place where I was like, Mistress, you were awfully confident for a girl who just packed some of her fabric into a bag as part of the challenge. And honestly, in terms of like, did I technically get everything out onto the runway? Absolutely. If that's sort of how you feel about checking boxes and that's where your confidence comes from, I'm not here to say that you're in the wrong, like, because some of it is how you sell it and how you feel like you did it. It feels like a lot for this bracket and for where we currently are with the show and where fandom is for the show. A lot is riding on Mistress and whether her attitude about herself and her drag and her attitude about other people and how that manifests, like where people fall in that spectrum. And this was just a start that I was maybe not so much expecting.
It's not exactly Eureka at the beginning of Canada versus the World being like, I don't feel like lip syncing, so don't put me up. But it's a start. It is a start.
Yeah.
It's something that I was talking about earlier with TK. When I first saw Mistress, I had a really bad reaction to her because I don't care for anybody who's like, I'm not a shit stirrer. You're sensitive. Don't do that. And I'm going to say something that I'm speaking from personal experience. When I was 300 plus pounds, I definitely...
Nope, you froze for me.
Oh no.
You frozen.
But I definitely had no problem coming for other people.
Wait, come back. What happened? Start again. When you were 300 pounds.
When I was 300 pounds, I had no problem kind of throwing my weight around as something people couldn't come for me for. And if you did, I could dismiss it. But I came for everybody over everything. And I was quite a bully in that way. And so I can see it in Mistress, where she's like, honey, if you come for my weight, you're just being a basic, sad little bitch. But I'm going to literally call you poor. I'm going to call you ugly. I'm going to call you bucktooth. I'm going to call you unibrowed. I'm going to make fun of you for physical traits. And so the other thing is I really don't like gaslighting. And so that Mistress was purposefully, psychologically picking away at people. Actually, it's funny when it's like your friends and you're picking at them, but when it's people that you literally are trying to get $150,000 and not them, then you're not actually just picking with your girls. You're literally trying to fuck someone up so they don't beat you in a competition. And so this double-sided illusion, this idea that she's actually not trying to win, but no, she's actually trying to win. Girl, you can't have it both ways. So seeing her come back, having been so unaware that she could have lost in the first place, clearly here to think that she's meant to win. The face crack is so audible because in her season, she kicked every fucking twink out of her way. And now here is Lydia. And Lydia is representing something that Mistress simply can't be, young and adorable. Mistress is powerful and always an old soul. She's never been young and adorable. And then here's Tina. Tina's not an old soul. Tina is a motherfucking 40-year-old try-hard. And that is something that Mistress simply cannot abide to see Lucy LaDuca.
It's true.
So I find myself bested by Mistress's humility because when the mask falls off, it really makes a thud, doesn't it?
I think also I would be very interested to read a little discourse essay on how Mistress was able to drift under a certain amount of radar because Luxmar London in her season was making no bones about who she had serious problems with. And she was much more pointed, much more willing to speak plainly and just say things. And then Mistress could sit in the back and giggle and poke and just be a little mischievous mascot. But
I just want to challenge that slightly only because during season 15, Mistress received so much hate and mass reporting, her accounts were banned 3 separate times.
Wow.
And I'm not saying that we need to leave Mistress alone in that regard. I'm not saying we can't hold people accountable when sometimes their actions, especially on a TV show, aren't the best. But people specifically did not like Mistress enough to mass report her that she got her accounts got banned 3 separate occasions.
Well, I think some of it that Tori's talking about too is just on the show. Like,
yeah,
Lux would go hard in the episodes, and people would be like, "You're like you sat on stage and just read everybody, or like praised everybody, and then just read Lucy."
Yes, I fully appreciate that Mistress is also a villain from her season, and people did not react well, and probably overreacted as much of this fandom seems to do.
Once you were in top 7, though, the other girls didn't really care about Mistress.
Mm-hmm.
They were just everybody's just kind of letting her do her thing and not worrying about what she was saying, but it was still rough with Lux. Like even it was rough.
Yeah. And whereas for this one, it's a lot easier for Mistress's behaviors to stand out. And
yeah, with just 6 people.
With just 6 people and these 6 people.
Yeah.
Where she is I mean, I understand Nicole Page Brooks has a very sharp tongue, but it's not as aggressively out to get you just to say something, to start something.
Unless you're George's, then she's gonna pick on you for being a tiny little nothing.
I know we might be playing favorites, but to me that was really funny.
Well, yeah, and I do think there was some sweet spirit because it was all just about how she's tiny, you know, and it was all just like ultimately like she's tiny.
Yeah, and I could watch Nicole Page Brooks look over her glasses at everyone for the rest of forever. It's my new favorite thing.
When we started the episode and some of the drama with Mistress and how Mistress behaves was about the Tina tweet, that's where I thought we were off on the wrong foot. And I do think that some of that was how it was edited. But I also do think like this is one of those moments where it's like it's actually on camera, so like it's not just how it was edited. I don't know where Tina was really coming from and why she felt like this was a piece of drama worth having. And so I sort of started the episode being like, oh god, Tina's gonna like be upset about nothing, and then this is just fuel for Mistress, like why would you even bring it up? And so I was so happy that among other things that went in a really different direction. And it didn't really have to become a whole thing. And Tina did great. And like I said, the whole thing became like, who's going to teach Lydia? Because we're talking about Nicole, I am starting to, between Phoenix and Nicole, I'm starting to have a little bit of this feeling of like, these girls get brought on. It just feels ill-advised. There's something about it. It feels like they're on not to be competing where everybody else is, because it's not really the work they want to do. They're there just to remind everybody they're there, but I love Nicole, and I really like Phoenix too. Like, their presences in the show for me are entertaining, but I just feel like it's 5 competitors and this hilarious alumni.
I think for me, part of that is a lot more evident with Nicole as well.
Yeah.
Because of how severely she's like, I am not updating my look.
She's like, truly the fucks I give are 0.
Phoenix was competing. I felt Phoenix was actually in the game. I don't think that she was like cutthroat, but I think she was actually like excited to be here and hopeful. But Nicole, I feel like Nicole might be cutthroat, but isn't willing to change what she is doing with her gameplay. She just thinks that should make her win because Pink seems to be Team Drag Delusion.
Well, and I think even deeper than Team Drag Delusion, I think this team has a certain sense of righteous entitlement to them in a kind of good way, in a kind of cool way, in a fun way. But Tina thinks she is the queen of New York. Nicole thinks she is the queen of Atlanta. Mistress thinks that she is the queen of the earth. Georges has literally been told she is the tiny queen of the stage. You know, Carrie is nicknamed Thanos online. And Lydia just can't be squashed. Like most Tim Burton spider creatures, she simply cannot be vanquished easily. So the sense of drag delusion this season feeds and defeats Mistress. So it's fascinating.
It's very fascinating. I also I am now remembering that Nicole Page Books is one of our few queens that Michelle has not judged yet.
Yep.
And I'll be very interested to see how this goes, because I feel like people have 2 kind of reactions to Michelle, and on All Stars she is much nicer, quote unquote. But I feel like that's gonna be a headbutt coming at some point, or should be, if they know how to make TV.
And they do.
Speaking of people who know how to make TV, I'm so appreciative that Georges is here. Someone online phrased it as the show bullied us into wanting to like Georges, and now I'm here to say it worked. Because I very much adore this queen. I enjoy her personality. I love that we got first episode she's there. The competition's really heating up at this point. She, I think, is almost in a way of being so young, seasoned TV veteran for just being on this show for so long, so often, that like she kind of like she literally said to her, "Oh, is this a good place to put my mannequin?" Like she's like aware.
Hey
of the
Dave,
show.
hey Gary, how is everyone doing? How are the kids? Like that's what we're gonna get from Georges soon.
But she's also 24.
She's
24.
She's 24. She is 4 years younger than me, and she like almost in a way has it figured out, and it's like it's so enjoyable to watch. She's just I've come around to like just really enjoying who she is as an entertainer and how she presents herself, and just the way she speaks, and also for anybody who's I know we're not really using that site, but the way that this girl tweets is the funniest in the entire world. Where she said, specifically my favorite one is on Thanksgiving, her saying, "Girl, this turkey is so good, makes me want to Vogue," is the most unhinged. And the fact that she tweets with every single word capitalized, someone asked her about that.
I saw that.
Well, sick in the head. I also think this was her best look that she has made. I don't know how much design stuff she has done in between, living on set, but this was specifically my favorite thing that she made. I understand why I didn't think she was going to win with it, because I think there were a little more visible problems with it than some of the other garments that were in the top. But this like color combination, what she made, this was my favorite thing that she's ever made.
This is fantastic compared to her last All-Stars design look, which was a stamp and a visible naked white bra. So I was very, very impressed with Miss Georges. Maybe she watched All Stars 9 back and was like, let me give Plastique a call before I take this job right here.
I also think she really benefits from Lydia being there, not being the youngest, the newest.
Wow. Yeah.
I mean, maybe she doesn't benefit insofar as, Lydia was in the top 2 this week, but in terms of like what she can be on stage, Georges being the cutest, sexiest baby in a given season, once, of course, twice, it's All Stars, anything can happen. 3 times and you're 24, it starts to just be like, hey, like this might be getting stale. And
move out, you're 40.
Yeah.
Harriet is the Mogwai of Georges.
Oh Lord, I can't. Yes.
Eat it, old.
And for her to come in, like, and there's also the sense of like, I'm back again. Like I just turned right back around. She gets to have a little bit of a different angle and a different point of view this season. And I do think that will benefit her more than even necessarily making it into the next bracket or the top 2 or whatever we're getting after that. Because being this young, if your character gets stale really early and people all can see it, that's a little bit of a kiss of death. I mean, of course, everybody's just still going to think you're beautiful and cool, but like...
But Jaleel White.
And, now to sort of be able to come in as a veteran, really, compared to like literally another person on her team who is still so new. I think I'm just interested to see how it all plays out.
It makes me really think carefully about what we project onto people at certain levels. Jonah, I love that you said that you feel like Georges might, at 4 years younger than you, have it all figured out. But something that like I've made jokes about on all the different versions of this show, whether it was Now and Again a million years ago when I hosted that, or any comic thing. God, woman, you were the biggest fan in the world of that show.
So much.
One of the things that always comes to mind is like every time Janet Jackson releases a new album, she's always like, and this time I'm really happy. And then like her next record, she's like, I was dealing with a lot of depression. And so like, and Mariah Carey does the same thing, record after record. Mariah Carey, every album, she's like, and so you guys know this one. I wrote this one after something bad. Someone took my boat. And then she's like, I'm good now. And like, I just feel like all of these girls, this is their emancipation of Mimi. And it turns out next record, they weren't good.
Whoo.
Just like, because we're always trying to be the best version of ourselves. We're always trying to be the most beautiful, wonderful version of ourselves. And like, for some of us that involves like, and I mean this really beautifully, for some of us that does involve being like a little dark-sided. Like, you can't help that you say shit things. Like me, TK, and Jonah walking to buy donuts, and I'm like, can I tell you all of the drama about some people you've met twice? And like, they both just let me do it. And like, because the gay gossip mill is always producing. It is just wood out the woodworks, and we are always looking to be biting and funny and playful. And there is something about the way that kind of comes together on the way we talk about this show, the way we deal with this show, the illusions we create for ourselves. And like, that if you show the smallest face crack, girls are that's why Mistress looks so mad walking off stage, because she knows she gave them too much to make her look vulnerable. And like, that's the name of the game. I was talking to TK about this earlier today. There's plenty of places I show vulnerability. I'm wounded. I'm a pound puppy. Somebody come rub my muscles. But like most places, I'm like, hey, what's up? It's just backstage where I'm like, and like, I'm really careful to try and keep that to backstage. And these girls have lost that ability at this point because All Stars and Drag Race as a brand is so invasive. And I don't know. I just think this is becoming a fascinating experiment in personal evolution, because I agree, Jonah, there's a lot of ways Georgia says it all together. But there's a lot of ways when I look at her, I'm like, baby, you're 24 and you're going to be so happy at 29 and 34 and 39. And like, I'm so happy for her beautiful life, because she has it all together now, and the next she has it all together is going to be even cooler for her. And like, it's becoming a real reward watching them grow.
And it's something I was talking about with to Tori about because we were looking
Tori
at
Amos?
if only no the Tori that matters. We were talking about Susie Toot, and Tori sent me a clip of Susie doing. What was she doing? What was the number?
Maybe this time.
Yeah. And I was just
Send
like,
it to you too, Nico. Get on Instagram.
I was just like, it wasn't bad. Like, it's fine. It's just Susie doing Susie's thing. But I was just thinking about, first I was thinking about Jinx, who would do after Drag Race a lot of like kind of old school, old timey Broadway numbers. And then she sort of expanded and started doing original stuff, or like doing like her vaudevillains, like, cover vaudevillians. Sorry, I always confuse the two. Cover of like Creep, and like she just started to expand, and then she was actually on Broadway, and she's just sort of went in different directions. And I was thinking about Susie, like she's so committed to this bit of needing to do old timey stuff, such that like the only song she wanted to do on the lip sync, the Lollapalooza, was the old timey song, and she didn't get it, and then she still won the lip sync. And
Susie to the Cuphead.
Yes. Who's the girl? I forget her name. But like Susie in 4 years is going to be a lot less committed to that bit, and is going to have like been asked to do somebody's hair metal video and done that, and like done like a hyper pop song or whatever the fuck it is. But she will have just proven to herself over and over again that even though she likes what she likes and she's good at it and she should be into it, and I'm glad that's what inspired her and like got her into it, but clinging to it so much is, it's your security blanket, it's your comfort zone, but you're so much more than those things. And it's always exciting when you see just how expansive girls become 5 years after their season, and now 10 years or more after their season. And I see that like Georges has become more expansive every time she comes back. And so I'm very excited to see, when she really steps away from Drag Race, when she does her first, like, I have enough money that I can actually take 6 months off, and then comes back and does other stuff. Like, I'm excited to see all those things too. In the same way that like I saw Trixie's first comedy show. I saw when she was touring with just a guitar and not the auto harp yet. I saw the auto harp, and now she just goes around and DJs. Like, it's very cool watching everybody change and grow.
I know that I want Georges' next project to be a Drag Race Lost Media archive called Blame It on Georges.
We're gonna blame it on the Georges.
For those of you who understand, Blame It on Jorge is like the greatest lost media person of all time. It's
actually, with the fact that Jorge does spooky videos, I think he would want her to do some kind of ghost hunting where she punches ghosts.
Oh my god,
ghosts here!
Oh my god,
he ain't afraid of no ghosts.
Oh, she's gonna punch the ghosts.
Yeah.
Speaking
Ghost
of
punchers.
punching ghosts, one of the things that I felt so bad for this season is, for this episode, because it's so tough. I was literally saying this at dinner. This feels like a different season than last week.
Yes.
Because it's 6 different girls. It's 3 different segments. This does feel like a different season. One of the hardest things is that it's not that Nicole Page Brooks is operating at a place of disadvantage. It's that the world spins madly on in a way that we don't always talk about. And it's thanks to, like, it's so stupid, but it's thanks to the internet and it's thanks to YouTube that, like, artists get to keep doing exactly what they do, right? Like 20 years ago, Paramore making essentially the same music 20 years later, essentially. It would have been one of those things where you're like, oh, where are they now? Hee. But because a dedicated fandom that stayed in that music mentality were able to keep riding that, they're more successful than I think they've ever been in some ways now. And likewise, Nicole Page Brooks's drag is so valid, so necessary, so important to the scene, and so a part of her having a residency, a life, and it's that her art just doesn't translate onto TV in the same light. And so this is one of those places where, like, I mean it really silly and really funny, but like, if this were the basic bitch all-stars, this would have won. This would have been like, if this were mall all-stars, if this were Drag Race mall stars, she'd win. But like, it's not. And it's still valid art. It's still very cool. But this is an example of where the show's lack of dexterity fails the girls for having more interests and talents and facets than just one camera can show.
Yeah, and it also makes me wonder why, because as Kevo is right. Phoenix showed up like she had researched the show and sort of figured out like what the kids are doing today, and said, I'm gonna at least show up looking like an old lady trying to hang with the kids. Like at the worst, at best, I might be the best, and kind of went with that. And I feel like Nicole Page Brooks said, oh, you want me and you're gonna get me. And while commendable, I don't know if that's what the show was looking for. And it makes me wonder, you know, who else the show might be looking at in the future, and if they're going to learn about the difference of how these queens from very, very, very early seasons are going to come to the game.
Not everyone's a Latrice. Not everybody is brilliant, funny, and can do whatever you need her to do whenever you put her there. And she doesn't always win every challenge, but like Latrice's winner energy is so fucking fun. And she's 4, right? She's season 4.
She's season 4.
Her winner energy is so strong, so positive. She's so exciting. And like, you could put her in anything, and I think she'd be fine. But, you know, Tori, to your same point, though, there are some girls from, let's go with season 15, who I think would struggle to do old school Drag Race challenges.
Of course.
And I think there's somebody who looks exactly the same as this person who would also struggle to do those same challenges because they're just right next to them on the spice rack.
Oh, sugar.
Oh,
Oh no, this is we can say shit, it's fine. So
oh god, I hope.
Yeah, so like that's my thought. Like, you know, you're always just there's no way where I want this to devolve into what older school queen would I like to see instead of. But I do think I'll be very interested to see if what she has brought is going to be able to stand next to the girls, and how she's going to handle if it perhaps isn't quite there.
And speaking of what they brought, I just keep thinking that Lydia has an unfair advantage in a really cool way. She just has whatever's left from her trunk that she made for season 17 that she didn't get to wear because she had to bring enough stuff for the season. And so now she's got some looks that she made all of them, so she would know how to deconstruct them, to remake them. Like, I'm not saying Lydia cheated by any stretch of the imagination. If you train for an Olympics and you don't go to that Olympics, and instead there's a really similar event you can do in the 2-year later one, that's not cheating. You're just super prepared. Like, but Lydia is coming fucking super prepared. And so like some of the girls being like, it's, oh my god, how did she do this? She literally just came from boot camp. Of course everything is sharp in her brain. It should be. And like, I'm just really glad to see that Lydia is out here saying that you can do a quick ass turnaround and it can be super fabulous, because like there's a lot of potential for diminishing returns. I can't figure out why someone like an Asia would do this. Asia has nothing to gain from doing an All-Stars. She's got a lovely job out at the residency in Vegas. She's killing it. She's got a great life as far, you know, in Drag Race, as far as I can tell. Coming on, not doing it. And I feel by that same token, what the fuck is Ginger Minge doing? Like, I don't think there is any good from Ginger coming back, but I can see where someone like Mistress thought everything was on the line. I can see where Mistress thought, this is it. I gotta do it. So, like, I don't know. I think, number one, for those of you who never knew that this song is where the sample for Good Vibrations comes from, this is where
I learned.
This has been one of my like go-to get stupid at a bar numbers for a very long time because I really enjoy anything where I can use some good vocal fry and a high register, and big fan. But I find myself frustrated that there's all of this conversation online that some girls turned it down because of the rules. But Mistress said that they discovered the rules at the time. So it sort of becomes who has the story, what is the story. I don't think legally they can disclose parts of the rules to some people. I believe there must be some kind of... Because so many of these games are, well, absolutely shenanigans. They actually do have the FCC like kind of on top of them.
Right.
There actually are laws about game shows. And so there's a reason that why if on Price is Right, a prop malfunctions, the person automatically gets the prize, because that is literally simpler than dealing with the legalities. So I'm fascinated.
I have a feeling that it might be that they were told you're going to come on for 3 episodes, and then if you get through, there will be more episodes with more girls. And that's what maybe, because I've heard the tale that Jessica Wilde turned it down because she didn't understand how the rules worked, et cetera, and that there's a couple of those floating around. And I think
Maddie, Mirage.
Yeah, and I think it boils down to people not wanting to speak about the NDAs, trying to stay in World of Wonder's good graces, still give a little bit of a clip to go viral and get people talking about it in a way that World of Wonder might like. And I think that they're all choosing different bits to hint at and say, oh, I didn't know anything else. Goodbye. And so then the puzzle pieces are not fitting together because no one is putting all of these girls in the same PR class. They're just letting them run their own.
The PR is part of the thing that I think is really funny because I love this group of girls. I think if I had to pick an early favorite just from this run, I'm hoping Tina can make it. I'm hoping Lydia can make it. I think that there is a little too much George's bias on the part of Rue, and so if she makes it, I'll just be like, I get why some people sided Aja. And I'm not rooting for Kerry, but Kerry's a kind of beautiful where somebody should just put her on Good Morning America already. Like, she shouldn't be competing on Drag Race. She should literally just be an actress, celebrity, model, spokesperson lady at this point. Don't make her compete. That's dumb. She's here for backstage shenanigans with a headset mic where she's the star, not the competition. So...
Yeah, I would love to see Carrie Colby like running a red carpet someday. Of just looks, talking looks.
Who else has got feelings on these girls before we kind of find ourselves looking forward at the rest of the season?
I'm also obsessed with Carrie Colby because I absolutely would have designed this top when I was in first grade. I was obsessed with jewels and this sort of thing, and I swear to God, I drew this when I was 7.
I just want to play Mancala now.
This is very, very the little flag they make you make for Holy Communion based.
Oh, yeah. Hallelujah.
Roman
Catholic. Can we kind of just give it up, just very briefly, to the amount of things Tina Burner did in the 3 hours they gave them for this design challenge? She made a coat that is lined. She made 2 tops and a high-waisted pant that is fully hemmed and tailored to her. That's insane.
Stoned some shoes, put together a cigarette case, fur, cuffs, and a collar. Earrings.
Incredible.
Unreal.
I'd also like to point out that Lydia, who was born in, as she pointed out this episode, 2001, has won only lip syncs with songs that were from the 70s or 80s. She has not won a lip sync to a modern song.
Well, that makes sense because she's basically a modern cryptid.
She's one of this is where we find out that RuPaul has started her Horcruxes are starting to pop up, and this is one of them.
Horcruxes with a W.
Overall feelings, I enjoy these girls. I think there's a very fascinating and interesting chemistry brewing here. And as somebody who is not specifically a scientist but an engineer, I love interesting reactions when you mix different things together. So I'm excited to see how all this is going to officially play out. I'm excited to see how they're going to do their point system because they were very congenial last bracket, and this one I think their claws are going to come out in various different ways. And if any of the producers or shows are watching this, please cast more queens like Nicole Paige Brooks because her charisma is off the charts, and the fact that she's able to keep up with the girls in that way truly shows that she should put on the show back on the show much sooner than this.
But again, I'm gonna renew my call for Drag Race Masters, Drag Race Elites. Let's maybe put these girls, these older queens, in a different sort of competition. Because again, I mean, I hear what everybody's saying. I do think Phoenix gave that she was trying, but this is where I get into like who's responsible for this, because it also just did feel like
Valerie Cherish was also trying.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, like it does a little bit just feel like it's just a different thing that I don't know, she just didn't feel prepared for. And like, I really do love Nicole. I really enjoy watching her, but it does sort of feel like her reaction to the critiques and to everything that's happening. I even will say I like the reaction in terms of I enjoy watching it. But when I think of it from a competitor standpoint and a drag race standpoint, it does sort of feel like she's just saying like, okay, well, I don't care if that means I'm dead last like this entire time. I just came to remind everybody I'm here to increase my booking fee. These are not bad things. Get your bag. But like I said, it does feel a little bit like it's 5 competitors. And then, I mean, Carrie's a different version of this, but yes, as Nico pointed out, like I can see so many places where I would love to see Carrie. I don't feel like she is here to compete. I hear she is competing in who is the most beautiful person in the room, and she has won consistently for years and is winning all of the time, no matter what's happening. So
doesn't matter the room.
Truly does not matter the room. But then when they're like
angels,
when they're like, could you tell one single joke for any reason? In Versace, no, but I'm still in the Versace, so don't worry about it.
Does that help?
So now I'm just kind of like, okay, so it's this fight between Mistress, Georges, Lydia, and Tina, and I guess we'll kind of see what happens. Again, like the funniest thing to me, I was actually really moved by, you know, the way Tina approached Lydia right at the beginning was really just like, yeah, so this must be weird for you. Like, you're really, really new. These people all know each other. And then it's mirrored by the end of Untucked, where they win. And in between then, Mistress this whole time has been like, I'll show you the ways. I'm going to be a little goblin lady. And like, I'll teach you how to be cunty to everyone. But she's
Mistress
also
loves that you called her little.
Just kind of being mean to Lydia too, and you know, she reads her look, which she might have even been right. But she's not especially encouraging. It's very like, well, we'll see if you impress me, which like is dickish, and I would never let anybody speak to me that way if I was like, oh, are you going to be my mentor? But that's not my problem. I don't give a shit. But then I was just really moved by how Tina is never like that, and then at the end when she has lost to Lydia, she's still like, we both did it. We got up there. You know, she really encourages her, and it's such mentorly. It's not even motherly, because who the fuck knows, but it's really mentorly behavior. It's really kind. It's really sweet from one seasoned queen to somebody who clearly has a lot of talent and experience, but a little less seasoning. Right. And it just like, it was a beautiful moment. It made for good TV. In terms of just like, I just think it's this battle over like good and evil for Lydia's soul, and it's very, very funny. But the show basically like it set itself up really fast, which is sort of how I felt about the last season too, in terms of like, okay, so this is Aja's, Bosco's, and Irene's, and we'll just see where we go from here. And then it was just so hardcore Aja's, Bosco's, and Irene's. So I'll be really interested to see if it's just a wildly different episode next week in terms of who does well and who doesn't. what the fixations are. Mistress keeps saying that their bracket takes us back to old school Drag Race cattery and drama. I don't really see that, but I'll be interested to see if we get more of that next week. It'll all be interesting to see.
For sure. I think I'll be interested to see how the points distribute if we're not playing nice with the extra points, and if we don't have a lot of the same winners popping up. It is very possible that either Lydia or Tina won't win again, like won't get all the way up there again. And what does that mean? With Aja, because everyone was playing nice, it came down to a nail biter because they sort of evenly distributed from there. You could not tell me that Tina will ever give a point to Mistress Isabel Brooks if they're both in the bottom together. And the other thing that they sort of didn't touch on in the first bracket is technically these girls are allowed to hand out the extra points to the girls who won, to the girls who lip sync.
Yeah, I've been wondering about that too.
Things can get crazy. And I think this will be the one where we see a lot of backstabbing, a lot of bad drag math in their heads. I think this one is a lot tougher to call the top three, just because I think this is going to be one of those where we don't see a lot of repeats in the top. We're heading into girl group roasts next week.
Rap roast.
Right.
The rap roast, which like somehow like the Drag Race wiki is calling girl groups, other people are calling roast. We'll see how it like shakes out in reality.
It's very weird that this is owned by Viacom and they're not just calling it some version of Wild and Out, which is exactly what it is. And MTV owns
because Nick Cannon owns that. It's literally called Nick Cannon's Wild and Out.
Wait, didn't he give it a while ago?
He might still legally own it.
Yeah,
You'd have to pay him.
Yeah, the whole thing might be copyrighted and then or trademarked, and then you gotta lawyers.
But that's exactly what it is. I mean, but it does do the thing that we were talking about and that Kevo brought up earlier, which is it's multiple challenges in a thing. Right,
which we had in episode 3, which we all really loved. And I think it'll be really fun. I know we sort of had this with the rap battle on Canada versus the World 2. Was that it? Yes, because Lemon crushed. And so I'm excited to see it, but I do think that we may not see, like, even if we do have repeats, I don't think it'll be the same 2 people in the top again with this group. And then God knows what purple's going to be. I am very interested in how they chose which colors go in what order. So anyway, that's what I'm excited for.
How about you, Jonah?
I am excited for people throwing shade, people being mean to one another in ways that should be fun and a little bit more lighthearted and maybe not so psychological of like destroying people. Yes, it's competition, but this is also TV. It should be fun. It should be enjoyable to watch. And that's what I'm kind of just looking forward to. I'm looking forward to I think this is the group where I have no which way to predict who will make it on. I think everybody has a case to be pushed and win and go forward. So I'm really excited to see how everything does shake out, because I think this group might be the tightest group in terms of who will actually get to go forward. If there's a bracket to use the RuPaul tie, it'll be this one.
I love that. Speaking of people I love, Kevo, what are you looking forward to?
I think the thing I'm most interested in this season is seeing how the challenges are shaping out. Like, this one was such a surprise. I really liked it, and I liked the style, I liked the format, but it felt kind of random even for this with what we've been getting. Next week, like we said, feels a little bit more like the challenges we thought we were going to be getting. But then who knows what their finale will be? Who knows what we will see for Team Purple? This is such a weird season, but I'm here for it. I'm excited for it, and
I love that. And until we come back to talk about more of this, I'm so excited. We've got comic broadcasts. I know we're going to eventually catch up on all of our favorite shows like Doctor Who. We've got games, music, we've got everything. So you guys should definitely check out everything that we do. And speaking of everything we do, Jonah, if people wanted to talk to you, if they wanted to know where they could find you, where could they look?
You can look everywhere. Well, mostly just Blue Sky. At T Jonah.
Love it. Tori, if people wanted to follow you and find out more about Fabulous You, co-creator of the Draft Race game, where could they find you?
You can find me online at SM Tori. That's Tori with an I.
I love it. Again, speaking of people I love, I get to use this one twice because I love them so fucking much. Kevo, if everybody wants to find you, where can they find you?
That's Kevo Really. That's KevoReally.
Hey, you guys know who's next. It's no question.
You can find me at TK Accidental. And last but never least.
Well, that would be me, and that's Nico Action, NICOACTION. If you guys want to check out my music, that's Nico Action Music, NICOACTIONMUSIC. But also, I don't want to forget to mention, if you guys like what we do, you would love us in audio podcast format. So don't forget to check out That's Husbands Talking More or Less, where this guy gets reposted. Hey, what's up? Don't forget there's also the amazing X's for Podcast feed, where we do all sorts of comic-y goodness and nerdery. But also, guys, don't forget, we're over here. So like, comment, and subscribe. Do the damn thing. Though, there's 3 things we would love if you guys would do for yourselves. Number 1, please stay safe. It's a crazy, spooky world out there. But number 2, be brave, because your light, it's amazing. But then on that subject, number 3, do me a favor. Evolve daily. Who you were yesterday, amazing. Who you are today, incredible. But who you are tomorrow, that's amazing. And we can't wait to see that. So until then, stay super cool. Stay your favorite girl's favorite girl. And we'll see you.
Bye.